Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. As I mentioned on Sunday, this week's videos are going to have a theme. And that theme is filtration that adds a certain style of stability to an aquarium, ones that don't require much in the way of maintenance, and because of the popularity of underground filters, this is going to continue with that as well. But this filter is not going to be in the aquarium, this is going to be above. And even though it doesn't quite fit with the definition of an underground filter, it is going to have a lot of characteristics similar to that, and it's close enough, I think, that it deserves that kind of name. So what's going to happen is, this box is the same dimensions roughly as all the underground filters I've built so far, but it's going to sit up on top of the tank. And that hole in the center is going to have a sleeve that's going to go around it, and it's going to fit over the current filtration system, which actually happens to be an underground filter. And water is going to percolate up through that, and because that center sleeve is going to prevent the gravel from going down through the hole, I'm going to have a bed of gravel in here. The water is going to percolate up through that and then down through the gravel. I'm not going to bother putting a plate underneath this. I don't think it's really necessary, because I also want to create not really dead spaces but low flow areas, again for that same aspect of stability. And of course, because I really like those high humidity concepts, I'm going to put a cap on this, and I'm going to throw some plants in here as well. And this is going to end up being well, an undergravel high humidity planter filter. But it's going to be different enough. I want to try, like I said, I want to test out as many of these variants as possible, and I want to, in the end, figure out which one works the best. So this is pretty much done. I'm going to, off camera, I'm going to build the cap for this, and then we're just going to stick it in an aquarium. And because I haven't really built this particular style before, I'm going to leave a couple of the errors I've made putting this together in the video, so you can see sometimes the things I have to do to make adjustments to things. So there you go. I'm just going to flip this over now. I'm going to finish the glue up, which is just the adding the inside trims and making sure the sides are glued in place off camera, because that's probably enough of me gluing for one day anyway. So there you go. This is all done. So that's going to form the basin for where the gravel is going to go. And then the top is just a simple cap. And that's just going to fit on top of there. There's a bit of a wiggle on top, as you see, just for a bit of a gas exchange. But because it's mostly enclosed, it will produce a fair amount of humidity, which is what I really want. So what I'm going to do now is just stick this in an aquarium. And again, as I said earlier, this is going to have gravel, not lava rock, because I want to try and go with the undergravel theme. And as you see, it's just very straightforward. So this is going to fit over the existing stack in the tank. And all I have to do is just pull out the cord and just fit it on top and then slide it all back into place. And this is the first mistake I made. I made this for like one of my generic tanks in this row. And I forgot that I had oversized the brackets for the high humidity one. And so this is, as you can see, as this will settle, the bracket on the right is a little bit too long. It's an easy fix. This is a simple matter of pulling it out and running it through on the saw sled and just shortening enough to fit in there. But as I want to leave a few of the errors in here, because it's just the kinds of things that sometimes crop up. Like I don't catch everything when I'm building things, and certain things like this here, it's not really a loss of material or anything, but you can see just over there on the edge, yeah, it just doesn't fit properly. But again, that's an easy fix. So this is a simple matter of pulling that out. And you can see now it is just a little bit shorter, and then it'll just fit over top again. I'll put the hose on, the air hose on, and then it'll settle back in. And watch, it actually fills up really quite quickly, which I really like about this. And when it's sitting in place, you will see it actually has really good flow, which is not really necessary, but it is kind of nice to have. There you go, just settled in perfectly, nice and flat this time. And in a few seconds here, you'll start seeing the water float through the holes. There we go. Actually, that's pretty good. Usually what I do for these style is I throw in an extra air stone. We'll see how necessary that is for this one here. Now the cap is the second mistake I made. I wanted to build it so it would just fit under the lights, but unfortunately I did not take the cross bracket. You'll see in the upper middle there, you'll see the cross bracket that holds the two sides for the aluminum stand together. It is an L or a corner bracket, right? So unfortunately, I didn't take the top part of it into account when I made when I put it together. So the first one I made doesn't fit. So and this is a matter of here. I'm just putting the gravel in now. It should be a deep bed, I think, for this style. Again, this will prove itself out in time. I just make sure that the holes in the front aren't plugged, and that's as easy as that. I am going to plant this with a number of different things, but today it's just going to be some Java fern. So I'm going to fit this on here, and you can see the slot I've made for where the air line goes, but as you can see, it's just too tight. It's well, unfortunately, just too tall, really. And I can't adjust this one, but fortunately I plan on building a couple more of these for other tanks in this particular rack, and it'll fit just fine for those. So now this time what I've done I made a shorter one. It took me about 15 minutes, so it's not so bad. And it is it's very snug. I wanted to fit it in as tight as possible. And whenever I do that, sometimes it'll just be a little bit big, which this is going to turn out to be, but that's fine because it's easy to, trim a little bit off, then of course to add back on. So here you go. It's just, I think, about a 1/16 of an inch too big to fit underneath. But again, it's just a simple matter of putting it on the saw sled and just trimming a little bit off the edge, and then putting it back on. It was an easy fix, and this this mistake, if you want to call it that, was intentional because I want it to be as tight as possible. I want there to be as much room inside this chamber as I can get. And there you go. It fits on. There's a bit of wiggle for the air escaping, just so it doesn't get stagnant in there. It usually doesn't when you have air bubbling in like this, but it's always good to have a bit of an air gap pretty much for everything. So all that's left to do now is I want to show you the modular lids that I've been making. Again, this one isn't made to fit on this particular tank because, again, that high humidity one to the right is going to be changed. I'm going to make them all more this style. So once that's not there anymore, all these lids are interchangeable with all the tanks. And because they're modular like this, I can pull one off and put on a new filter style, and it's just easier for me not to have to make entire new lids for things. So that would fit right down once, again, that one to the right is gone, but that won't be for a little while yet. So I'm just going to pull this off for now, put it back on the tank it belongs, and I'm going to stick a few plants in this, and then it's a simple matter of letting this mature a bit, and then I'm going to add in some gramaris scuds, and some cherry shrimp and other plants, and get this to mature, and we'll see how this one works. It's a little bit different. Like I said, it has an under gravel aspect, but it's not as difficult to get into as the other one. The other one's very hard to get in and maintain. I did intend for it to come for you to slide the tray to the front, and it does do that. But unfortunately, it is still a lot more difficult to get at. And I'm finding these ones here with the lid that pops off much simpler to get into. And that's actually part of the process of this. It is to come up with an idea, make a proof of concept version of it, a trial if you like, prototype, and through maintenance over a period of time, see if it is actually how you want it to work out. I mean, and then if it has certain aspects of maintenance or whatever that you don't like, make changes and try another one. And that's actually the beauty of most of what DIY is all about. So this is now made to the right size, and you'll see how easy this is to fit in. And this is what it's going to be like when maintenance needs to be done on this. It's just a simple matter of popping the lid off, snipping a few leaves, and it's all set to go. As simple as that. So there you go. This is part 2 of the theme this week. Filters that are going to add stability to the tank and require very little in the way of maintenance. So if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe. And on Friday, I hopefully will have the rainforest build up for you. And as always, leave lots of comments. Let me know what you think of this. And I will see you on Friday. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.